Welcome back again to our next class. So we are going to discuss about the simulation of radioactivity. So we are well familiar with the radioactive decay of various radioactive samples. Actually, if we are taking a group of radioactive atoms like uranium atoms, we do not have any idea about which atom will undergo radioactive disintegration. We can say only that there is a probability of atoms of first atom, or there is some probability for the second atom, or some probability for the third atom to undergo disintegration. If you are observing continuously this group of 100 atoms for a time of 30 minutes or so, there is we cannot predict which atom will decay at a given time. So it is completely a non-deterministic process. We cannot find, or we cannot predict what will happen in the next moment. So this is considered to be a completely non-deterministic process that can be simulated very naturally using Monte Carlo method. The method we are using here for the simulation of radioactivity, which best suits the present situation, since it is a non-deterministic process. We use Monte Carlo method by using random numbers. The observation that the mean life of a given atom is the characteristic of the nucleus leads to the assumption that the probability for any one particle decaying per unit time in a radioactive sample is a constant. Suppose we are having the probability of any given atom decaying or a given interval of time delta t is given by lambda, where lambda can vary between 0 and 1. If lambda is equal to 0 means the atom does not disintegrate, lambda is equal to 1 means the atom will surely disintegrate, and lambda can have vary between 0 and 1, indicating the probability for disintegration. So history of a single atom can be simulated by choosing a sequence of random numbers, which varies between 0 and 1. The atom survives until the first occurrence of xk. If I am choosing a random number, I don't know what is the value of the random number, and we'll choose a decay probability for the atom. Suppose we are taking the first atom, and for the first atom we assign a random number xk, and this random number can take values between 0 and 1. We'll choose a predefined value for the decay constant for a given set of n atoms, and out of this n atoms we choose the first atom, and we'll check and we'll generate a random number, and we don't know what is the value of the random number, and we'll give a constant value for the decay constant. Suppose it is 0.5 and our random number chosen is 0.2. Then 0.2 is less than 0.5 means the atom undergo disintegration. Okay, and we'll assume some condition. Okay, this approach can be used to simulate an ensemble of n atoms. Okay, suppose we are having delta n be the number of particles that decay in a small interval of time delta t, then the decay probability per particle, that is delta n by n. Delta n at a given time divided by n at a given time is proportional to what? Is equal to minus lambda into delta t. If you are observing delta number of atoms in a time delta t, what I'll get? Delta n by delta t gives the decay probability, and it is proportional to the number of atoms. That is, delta n by delta t is proportional to lambda, which is the decay probability. As time goes on decreasing, what happens? As time goes on increasing, the probability of decaying goes on, and the number of atoms goes on decreasing. That I'll put a negative sign here, and this probability of this decay is proportional to the initial number of atoms n. So if I am writing delta n by delta t, what I'll be getting is minus lambda into n. This is our basic equation. From that I can write delta n is minus lambda delta t into nt. This is something that you studied in your +2 classes and all. The same equation itself. Okay. And this is a finite difference equation, and delta n and delta t are the experimental observables, and normally it cannot be solved using the basic method for solving differential equation, but numerical solutions or algebraic solutions are possible since it is not a Pakka differential equation. It is a finite difference equation, and we generally have an algebraic solution n is equal to n0 e raised to minus lambda t. That is something that we have studied in your earlier classes. But if we are trying to solve it numerically, we generally follow the Monte Carlo method. Okay, so for your better understanding, we'll discuss the program first. Then we'll just comment about the algorithm. Okay. So program, we'll discuss the program in detail. Suppose from Pylab import star. Pylab means Pylab module contains all the functions that supports the floating, and from Pylab import star. It imports all the functions in Pylab module, and n input enter the initial number of atoms. Suppose we are having 100 number of atoms, that is n is equal to 100, and we'll input the decay probability for the atom to decay. Suppose lambda is equal to 0.5, and we'll input the initial time and maximum time t and tm. Now what we will just create a list for number of undecayed atoms, that is equal to first one what? First one will be initial number of atoms n. So initially all the 100 atoms will be undecayed. So first element in the list nu will be nu is number of undecayed atoms, and it is a list. The first element in the list will be 100. Now we'll move on to the condition that n is greater than 0 and t is less than tm. That both conditions are satisfied, we'll enter into the loop. We are using the logical AND operator here. N greater than 0 means we'll get a true, and t less than tm means we'll get another true. Both trues means true and true. That is 1 and 1. Then we will get another true, so that we can enter the loop. And the loop works for I is equal to 1 to 100. And for I is equal to 1, we'll start. There are 100 atoms, and for the first atom, we'll generate a random number. If random with empty parenthesis means a random number will be generated, and such that what happens if the random number generated is 0.3. We don't know what will be the random number generated. If it is 0.3, our condition is 0.3 less than or equal to lambda. Our lambda value is 0.5. So 0.3 less than 0.5 means we'll enter to the loop, and what happens next? N is what? N is equal to 100. Now the value of n become 99. This atom undergo disintegration. Okay, that is n is equal to n minus 1. Value of n is now 99. And we'll move out of the loop, and we'll go to the next condition and check 99 greater than 0. We'll move out of the loop. Okay. And what happens here is that if our okay, and this is for this one. Okay, for I in range n. And what happens if this condition is false? That is, the interpreter is here, and if random number generator is 0.6, what happens? 0.6 is not less than 0.5. So the interpreter directly moves to this line, and what happens next is that number of undecayed atoms becomes what? It was earlier 100, and 100 was the first element in the list. Now it became what? 99. Okay. It become 100 itself. 100 again. Number of undecayed atom remains 100 in the first observation. And again the interpreter will go here for I in range n. Okay, it will go. This process will be repeated. And if this condition is true means time changes to t plus 1, and it will move to the next condition where 99 greater than 0, and this will be observed until it undergoes disintegration. Okay, this process will be observed. We'll generate random numbers until it is disintegrated, and then time becomes t is equal to t plus 1, then 99 greater than 0 and t less than tm. Then value of I becomes 98, and we'll check out if 98 undergo disintegration, and this process will be repeated. Okay. And what is next here is will print nu. Nu after the whole process is repeated and number of atoms becomes 0 or time reaches the maximum time. What happens? Interpreter come here and just print out the number of undecayed atoms, and t is equal to arrange t plus 1. T is equal to arrange t plus 1, y equal to nu o. It is the equation that is generally used. N is equal to number of undecayed atoms, n is equal to n0 e raised to minus lambda t. This is the general equation that we get for solving analytical equation. And what you're doing here is we create an array of time. What is there? We create an array of times by using the function arrange for creating arrays. Arrange, creating arrays. It takes all the values from up to t with default step size, and we plot two plots. We plot t versus nu and t versus y. This is the equation, and this is the numerical method using Monte Carlo generating random numbers. And legend is for getting which plot stands for which. The first one is simulated. T and nu is simulated, and the other one is the exponential, solving the exponential equation. Then we'll get legend simulated exponential, x label time, y label number of undecayed atoms, and title radioactive decay. Grid true means we'll get the lines, horizontal and vertical lines as if in the graph paper. Then show, and I'll run the program to make it more clear. Idle window from Pylab import star. Okay, while we'll put both the condition n greater than 0 and t less than tm for I in range n. If random number generated is less than or equal to lambda, the value of n changes to -1, and this process will be repeated. And what happens next is that if this condition is not satisfied, what is next is that we'll come out of the loop and add n to the list of undecayed atoms, and this process is repeated. And if you are running, so you are getting enter the initial number of atoms, then I am putting it as 100, and probability of decay is I am putting it as 0.5. Enter the initial time, let it be 0, and maximum time, let it be suppose let it be 50. Okay, so what happens next is that you'll get the list for number of undecayed atoms: 100, 55, 100th atom, then it is 55th atom, then it is 28th one, then 14th one, and we are observing this 100 atoms within a time between 0 to 20, and we are observing the decay process, and you will get the plot like this way. And this blue line stands for the simulated one, and the green line stands for the exponential plot which is obtained by solving the equation. Okay, this is how that you're going to get the results. Okay, so this is the program. If you just go through the program, grid true means you will get the output window like this way with vertical lines and horizontal lines. This is the equation. You just go through the program, try to do it in your phone. If any doubts, you can ask me. That is simulation of radioactivity, which is a non-deterministic process using random numbers with assuming the probability conditions and all. And if you're going through the word, you can see, okay, you can see, okay, you can see the algorithm also here. First we'll have to read n, the initial number of parent atoms, initial time, final time tm, decay probability lambda. The second step is we assume t equal to be 0 and maximum time, and we assume the condition n greater than 0, t less than tm. maximum time do, then we assume a list of numbers nu, and we'll input or append the first value to the list as n. Then we vary what I equal to 1 to nu do, and we put a value for random number that is within x, and we'll check whether x is less than or equal to lambda. Then what happens, n becomes n minus 1, and this if loop is ended. And if this condition is satisfied, then the for loop will be n becomes n minus 1. And one more condition is there, and if loop. And here what happens, some mistake is there in the algorithm. Okay, under this for loop will end once I reaches n values. Okay, so how can you write it here? Okay, n is equal to n minus 1, then nu becomes uh, nu equal to nu plus the present value of n, and t is equal to t plus 1, t plus 1. This means t is equal to t plus 1. I'll put it in with hash, then it will be clear for you. Hash t equal to t plus 1, t equal to t equal to t plus 1. Okay, you'll have to, for you to understand what is the meaning of putting t plus is equal to 1, that is t is equal to t plus 1. And what is next is okay, we'll have to, before incrementing the value of t, I'll have to append this condition. Okay, oh, I'll have to write it one more here, one more term here. 10 11, this one is 11, uh, and nu becomes, and nu is equal to what, the list of nu plus n, right? And t equals t plus 1, and this becomes 12, this becomes 13, and this becomes 40, right? And in between you can print nu also. Okay, okay, you can print nu 13 as 14 stuff, you can print nu. Okay, it is not necessary. And before ending 13, 14, this one will be 15 and 16. You can simply write float, you can float, you can float what, graphs, float graphs, you can name it. And as 17 step you can write end. Okay, that will do. You just go through the program and you can write the algorithm accordingly. Try to put all the indentations while writing the algorithm, while n greater than 0. Okay, and here you'll have to write all the steps, I mean all the numbers within the margin. Okay, in this program this is done by some students and they have made it 3 4 5. It is not a correct way. You should write 3 4 5 like this way. Okay, okay, so this is about radioactive decay. You go through this, and if you are having any doubts you can ask me. You check out it with a number, and if you are having doubts you can ask me. Okay, okay, so thank you.